Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's presentation, Tech Tuesday Understanding Permissions. We have a few logistics to cover before we get started. First off, everybody will be muted for the duration of the presentation. However, if you should have any questions, I will be monitoring the chat module, so please feel free to chat with me there. This webinar is being recorded and will be distributed later today along with the PDU information. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to EPM Live Technical Trainer, Marianne Uribe.
Thank you, Morgan. Welcome, everybody, to this Technical Tuesday on June 18th. My name is Marianne Uribe, and I'll be with you for the next several minutes or half hour to an hour. Today's goal is to answer some end-user questions like, why can't I do certain things in a site? Or why do the items I see displayed in a certain view look different from what I see on the screen of perhaps another? We're going to look at site permissions, build team permissions, associated item permissions, and some filters that are applied to certain views. Listed here are several types of permissions. The EPM Live security model utilizes the SharePoint security model. Each site and list contains security groups that are either unique to a site or inherited by the parent site. So what are permissions? Permissions grant a user the ability to perform specific actions such as viewing pages, opening items, and modifying items. A permission level is a collection of individual permissions that are bundled together to allow users to perform a set of related tasks. So here we have site permissions. These are permissions for users to access the site. We have list and library permissions. These are permissions for users to access a list app or a library. We've got view permissions. These are permissions for groups to have access to certain views in a list app. Item permissions. The build team security feature allows for users to be added to an items team and to have access to it. And we have associated items inherited permissions. When using the item permissions build team security feature, this feature allows for associated items to inherit the permissions of the parent item. From the top of the site collection, there are 6 permission levels that exist. They include full control, design, contribute, read, limited access, and contribute to. So what are these? So full control would be something like an administrator might have, and then this user would have control over all the content in the site collection and has most of the site collection administrator's capabilities with the exception of deleting the site. We also have design. Within this permission level in design, the user can approve items and are able to customize the site. For example, he or she might be able to add a web part. We have contribute. And at this permission level, for example, perhaps a team member, this user can view and modify items in the site. He or she can create new list items, but not projects. They can update their work assignments, and they can create a project plan if they're added to the project item as the planner or project manager and the team as an owner. We also have read permission levels. Here they can view but not delete any items. We have limited access. Here he or she with this permission level can view specific lists, document libraries, and folders when given permission. And contribute to. This might be for perhaps an executive, portfolio manager, project manager, or resource manager. Here they can view and modify items in the site. They can also create a project, another type of list app items. They can update work assignments. They have all the permissions of the contribute permission level, but they can also create subsites such as a workspace. Again, the site collection administrator has the highest level of all permissions and has full control over the entire site. Notice here I'm in Pro Green Consulting. That's the name of my site. I'm in the Project Center, and I'm in the Executive Summary View. So now that we're in the Project Center, I can see the projects listed here. Within each of these project items, there are a number of fields where names can be entered like owner, project manager, planner, executive sponsor, and more. When managing item level permissions, each item in the List app will have unique security groups. You can check the permissions for any item by navigating to that List app. For example, here I'm in the Project Center and I've selected this Carbon Capture 3 item by either clicking after the name, before their name, or even the checkbox here. Next, I clicked on Items Permissions up on the ribbon. Notice the little button here. So here I can see the title of my project item, Carbon Capture 3. Here we can see the permissions for each of these groups. Notice here I've got member, owner, and visitor, and of course with the title of the project item. So we've got Carbon Capture 3 members, and they have read-only permissions. We have Carbon Capture 3 owner, which has full control over this project item, as well as Carbon Capture 3 visitor, which has read-only. Again, we have the site collection administrator down here, and they have full control. So me being the person who created this Carbon Capture 3, I automatically am entered into the owner group, and I have control over this project item. That means I can edit the project item fields. I could add people to the fields in here, such as the executive sponsor, the planner, the project manager. I can even edit the start or finish dates and other metadata for this project item, being that I have full control as an owner. When we use this Edit Team button up on the ribbon, this allows me to add people to my team for this particular project. So here I've selected my project, I click Edit Team, and within the Edit Team I have the ability to add people to my team as well as change their permissions. Now notice I'm in here as owner because I was the one who created it, so I'm automatically added as the owner of this project. I added Keanu Reeves and I made him a member. And I added Kate and I gave her visitor rights. Well, what's the difference? Well, I have full control over this project item. Keanu, I made a member, so this, by giving him this permission within Build Team, I've given him contributing rights, meaning he can add an issue. If he's having an issue on this project, he can update his work, he can add a comment, and more. Down here for Kate, I made her a visitor. That means she can only view this item. By adding her to my team through Edit Team, when she logs in, she'll be able to view Carbon Capture 3 project. So when the Build Team feature is enabled, the item owner can manage which users are added to the various groups by using the Build Team feature button. Again, the defaults are we've got owner, we've got member, and visitor. So here within the project item fields, these are some of the fields. We've got owner, project manager, and planner. Because I created this, I'm able to add Joe Brown as the owner, so he'll own the success of the completion of this project. I've also added Christina William as the project manager, so she'll be the person in charge of managing the schedule, status, and project artifacts. Perhaps even contribute to building the team. As well as I've added Joe Brown as the planner, so this person will be in charge of using the online project planner. Will be able to launch that online project planner and create a schedule and assign resources here. So it's here within this permission strike zone. This is the name of that project. We can see we've got member, owner, and visitors. That's on the project item. So members have read only. So these people that I enter here only have read until I change the permissions to Build Team. Again, owner, since I created that, I have full control, and visitors have read only here. It's here within Build Team that we can change the permission levels of those resources entered in the project item. For example, again, I added Joe Brown here as the owner. If I do not add him to my Build Team, he won't even be able to see the project item when he signs in, nor will he be able to make changes to that project item. Likewise, with Christina William as my project manager, I must add Christina to my Build Team as well as give her owner rights. Notice I've given Christina owner rights here as the project manager. Otherwise, she won't be able to edit that project item form. So if she needed to change the start date or if she needed to change something within the project item, if I don't give her owner rights within Build Team, she won't be able to do that. And lastly, with my planner, I added Joe Brown. Again, if I don't add him to my team and don't make him the owner, he won't be able to launch that online project planner and be able to create a schedule, assign resources, and publish. Let's review some of those project item fields. So when you select a project item or when you create an item, these are some of the fields that you get to enter, such as stage gate owner. This person must be added to the team, and the permission must be made an owner Or he or she won't be able to change the project item form where the stage field would be, such as create from a project if you're doing some top-down planning, create, select, plan, manage, and close. Those fields are within the project item. The executive sponsor. Perhaps I want to add Meg as my executive sponsor, but I only want to give her read-only rights. I could add her to my team and just give her visitor-only rights. This way she can just see the item. Here, owner, this person is granted this automatically when they create the item. However, I could add someone else's name in here and then add them to my team as well as give them owner permissions. The project manager is the person who's going to manage the project item details and perhaps the schedule. And lastly, we have the planner, and this person is who will manage the schedule and will have access to launch that project planner if their name is listed here and they're added as an owner to my team. So these are some of the project item fields where you can add resource names. Now let's talk about views. What the resource sees when they log in varies depending on their role or permission level. Also the view that they're looking at. Depending on if you've been added to a team and your role, the listed items displayed here may look differently. Take, for example, this view, Projects I Own. This view displays items that, based on the filters here, either I am listed as the owner, so it says show the items when column owner is equal to me, or when the column stage gate owner is equal to me, or when the column project manager is equal to me, or when the column created is equal to me. So within those fields, these filters that are applied make up the difference of what shows up in the view that Projects I Own. This helps clarify a little bit of why what I see may differ from perhaps another person because of these filters applied. We also have associated items. These are also known as child items. Here in the Project Center, I'm in the Project Center. You can see my projects listed here. If I select one or more projects, here I've got one selected. I can select multiple if I'd like. I can view the associated items up in the ribbon. Notice here we've got changes, issues, documents, and tasks. If I had other apps such as risks or backlogs, they would show up here as well. So from the Project Center, I can select multiple projects or a single project and view the associated items, such as, let's perhaps select issues for this example. When users have been added to the project team by adding them to one of the item security groups, those users will also have permissions to the associated child items for the parent item. The child work items inherit permissions from that parent project. So here I've selected this technical integration issue, and up on my ribbon I have the ability to view the item permissions, selecting by either clicking in front of or in front of or after the project name, and then clicking the item permissions up on the ribbon. Here's the associated items, the permissions for that project. Notice the member here has contribute rights. So when I went into Build Team and I gave perhaps Adam Barr contribute rights, he has the ability to update his work items that I assign him. He can add an issue. He can add comments and whatnot. So he's inherited those permissions through Build Team. Same with owner here, full control, and visitor again only has read-only rights. So we've got contribute, full control, and read. The displayed associated list items in these child items or associated items here that we see depend on what view we're looking at and the filters applied. Here you notice we have My Active Issue Summary view. We're in My Site under the Issue Center from my Quick Launch bar in the My Active Issue Summary. These issues displayed here depend on the filters applied. For example here, if the column was created by me, so created by is equal to me, or if the column owner is equal to me, or the column is assigned to me, so assigned to is equal to me, and lastly we have end. So if or, and end, the column status is not equal to completed. Let's go ahead and take a closer look. So here I'm in my site, ProGrain Consulting. I'm at the top here, ProGrain Consulting. If I go to Site Actions and down to Site Permissions, I'm going to click on Permission Levels. Earlier I mentioned there are 6 permission levels. It's here that we can see those permission levels. We've got full control, design, contribute, read, limited access, and contribute to. So as I mentioned earlier, full control, this user can modify and or delete items in any way like an administrator. The user can create the items, such as a PI, and they're automatically added to the group as the owner. We've got design. This user can approve items and customize, such as add a web part. The contribute, this user can view and modify items in the site. They can create new list items, but they can't create projects. They can update their work assignments. In read, they can view, but they can't delete items. In limited access, they can view specific lists or documents and folders when they're given the permission. And the contribute to, this might be executives, portfolio managers, resource managers, and or project managers, and they can view and modify items in the site. They can also create a new project and other types of list app items. They can update work assignments. Basically, they have all the permissions of the contribute permission level. Plus, they can create subsites, such as a workspace. And again, we do have that site collection administrator, and that person has the highest level of all permissions. Now let's navigate to the project center. I'm going to use my quick launch bar and click on projects. This takes me into the project center. I'm in ProGrain Consulting in the project center in the executive summary view. I'm going to select Carbon Capture 3, the one particular item here, and I can either use view or edit item. Either way I can view those fields such as executive sponsor, project manager, planner, and more. So here if I scroll down I can see who did I add as the StageGate owner, Brian Kinney. Executive sponsor, Meg Ryan. Owner, Mary Ann. Project manager, Christina. And the planner, Mary Ann. So this person will be able to launch the online project planner and create that schedule. Christina is going to manage the project item metadata. Mary Ann's the owner, I'm the one who created this item. I make Meg Ryan the executive sponsor and Brian Kenny the StageGate owner. This person would change the state from either select all the way to close. I'm going to go ahead and close this project control page. Within the project center here, I could have done this from the project control page item as well. You can select any one of these projects. When you select it, notice up on the ribbon we have that items permission. I can go ahead and click on items permission. And here I can see the permission levels for Carbon Capture 3. Members have read-only rights. They can view the project item. The owner is the only one, whoever I add as an owner has full control, so they can edit that project item. They can edit the fields. And visitors can only read. So we've got visitors and members on the project item with read-only rights. Next, we can manage permissions and add people through Build Team. I've got my Carbon Capture 3 here. Notice up on my ribbon I've got Edit Team. Again, when users have been added to the project team, by adding them to one of the item security groups, those users will have the permissions to the associated child items as well for that particular project item, or parent item I should say. So the child work items inherit permissions from the parent project. So here within my current team, I added myself. Well, I was the owner, so I created it. I automatically default as an owner. I added Kate as a member, so she has contributing rights to this project. She can add issues. She can update her work. She can add comments. Meg's a member. I made Edward Cullen a visitor, and Christina, since she's my project manager, gave her owner rights. So that was all through Build Team. Remember, this is where you change the permission levels from either owner, member, or visitors. I'm going to close out of my Build Team. So now let's look at within this project center. I can select multiple items, single or multiple project items, should I care to. And within my associated items up on the ribbon, I can look at changes, the associated changes, issues, project documents, and tasks. Let's go ahead and look at the issues. So these are the associated child items to these projects that I selected. Notice here I've got 2 issues here. By selecting one of those, if I click on the items permissions, now remember this is the associated items. If I click on items permissions, it's here that I can see the default levels of permissions. Members have contributing permission levels. The owner has full control. And the visitor has only read-only permission levels. So they've inherited those through the Build Team that I added. I'm going to go ahead and close out of this issue here, list, and let's go directly to the Issue Center. Using my Quick Launch bar, I'm going to click on Issues. This takes me to my Issue Center as Program Consulting Issues, my Active Issue Summary. Notice the view my active issue summary is displayed here as well as here. Depending on what we're looking at are, remember, the filters that are applied and my role as well. So I'm logged in as Mary Ann Uribe. These are my active issues. So I'm going to go ahead and change my view here to show you the back end or modify this view. And remember, we went over this earlier. What I mentioned was, depending on the filters applied here, here are the filters. Show all items in this view when the item column created by is equal to me being Mary Ann Uribe, the person logged in, or when the column owner is equal to me, or when the column assigned to is equal to me, and when the column status is not equal to completed. And that's why in that My Active Issues, those issues are displayed within this view. That takes us through reviewing permissions on different items. My goal today was to help you visualize how permissions work within EPM Live and show you why views may differ from one user to another. I'd like to introduce you to EPM Live University. EPM Live University is our new online learning management system where you and your team can easily access all end user and site collection administrator training for EPM Live products. Within EPM Live, you can access all our user guides, self-paced courses, and even register for weekly instructor-led Q&A sessions. EPM Live is available to all customers who are part of our Premier Success Program. To find out more about EPM Live University, please visit our EPM Live training page at epmlive.com. Before wrapping up, I'd like to announce that EPM Live is hosting our first ever user conference called Impact 2013. The conference will be held in San Diego, California, at the world-renowned Hotel del Coronado. Join us for this 2-day event packed with learning and networking opportunities and a very fun special evening cruise around San Diego Bay. Currently, we're offering incentives which include a day of pre-conference training that you won't want to miss, and an early bird registration price that runs through July 1st. Sign up now and receive the lowest prices available. And make sure when you sign up you tell them Mary Ann referred you. We're looking forward to seeing you all in November at the user conference and hope you've enjoyed this presentation. Thank you.